Welcome to another edition of Our City. And I'm pleased to be joined on this week's show for the first segment by Miss Valerie Allen, who is the executive producer of Here We Are to Worship, a great documentary. And I'm here to talk with Valerie about it and get her thoughts. Valerie, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here, Mayor. Thank you.
So before we begin, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Yes, in short, my name is Valerie Allen. I am indeed the executive producer of a moving and powerful documentary film titled Here We Are to Worship in Spirit and Truth. In addition, I am also a survivor and homeless citizen here in the city of Elizabeth, New Jersey.
And the name of the documentary, how did that come about?
Well, the name of the documentary came about being able to collaborate the stories of 4 incredible women who actually have survived from suffering and silence of abuse. We're remaking the documentary film, entitling it Breaking Suffering, Silence of Abuse, because we found so often so many are yet still suffering in silence. And so these 4 women, including myself, were brave enough to come on film and to share their stories, that it may be an inspiration, a message of hope and encouragement to others if you're suffering in silence, to be able to tell someone.
Now, domestic violence is something that is always, in most cases, always done in silence or behind closed doors, and it's really difficult unless somebody steps up.
Absolutely.
And in New Jersey, we have some of the toughest laws to combat that, because if the police respond, one person must be removed.
Absolutely.
Which means arrested.
Absolutely.
So this documentary, how do you expect to get it out to folks so not only women but men can see it as well?
Absolutely, Mayor. You said it exactly right. It's a film for men as well as women, because it is true. Men suffer in silence as well too, and feel like they don't have anywhere to go or anyone to talk to. And we're so grateful to be able to cast a new member this time around, which is a man. And so with that, people were able to find the documentary. We're planning to have it re-screened at the AMC movie theaters. We're planning to have it distributed throughout on DVD. We're planning to have it distributed out anywhere and everywhere, from churches to homes to wherever we're invited and wherever open doors that, what God may open for us to be able to get that word out.
So the 4 people that volunteered to do this and be part of it has to be pretty courageous, because other people can see this, and naturally telling their story brings up really bad memories.
Absolutely. You hit it right there. I tell you, when we initially shot the film, and it was one segment with me in particular, and it took me back to 9 years old, where my mother was actually abused by the hands of my father, and he took a bat and hit her upside her head. And I watched this. They didn't know that I was watching, and their blood streamed down her face. So you're right about it, in that respect, man. Bolage, as you just stated. So we have to be able, to tell the stories, in that respect. So we thank the Lord that those who was brave enough to tell it, because the first thing they were saying, how can we, was brave enough to tell it, and they just wanted to, tell their stories.
So as a 9-year-old child, if you see this happening, you're really reluctant. You don't know what to do. And how do you encourage young people at 9 or 10 years old, that if they see this happening in their house, that it's okay to tell somebody, whether it be a teacher, whether it be an adult professional, a police officer? How do you encourage kids to say this has to be reported?
Well, that's exactly what we do. We know there's so many programs, as you said, and especially here in the city of Elizabeth, where we're loving to, bring our spiritual enrichment program, because we've gone beyond the documentary film itself. We've now launched into a spiritual enrichment where we're able to help heal and to be able to teach those, how to use their God-given talents and abilities as well. So you're right. When you're 9, such as I was, who do you tell? And that's where the suffering part comes in, because you feel like you have no one to tell. So we can't say any more than what you said. You now have us, because we have the expertise and experience and knowledge, and to know how to deal with that. So again, you tell your parents, tell your teachers, tell your superiors, tell your friend. Tell anyone that you feel you can. Call the hotline resources of domestic violence and all the other agencies that's out there. The thing is to just tell, to find the bravery within yourself to speak up, even when you're 9 years old, and let someone know that someone is hurting you.
So the goals and purposes of this, besides education, what else would be the goals and purpose of this?
Well, basically, what we want to be able to do is to have the film screen so people can see. Sometimes, you know, our senses go into play. And when we can see it from a reality standpoint, you can somewhat visualize yourself without having to say a word. So we want to be able to help you see, visualize it, and be able to speak out, help you become spiritually healed from the inside, and then be able to take you into another area and dimension to show you what you do after. Because so oftentimes, we talk about getting healed and being delivered from a situation, but where do we go from there? So we want to be able to have people to rise again, to have them smile and to shine again, to uprise and to become entrepreneurs, to become an entrepreneur such as myself, an inspired book author. All that I went through, I'm also yet still an inspired book author as well too. I'm inspired at the beginning. And so still yet telling another segment of my life in that respect. So we want to be able to create dreams, to speak to the dreamer that's inside, because so often.
So how did the documentary come to play? Was this your idea? Was it the other women's idea? Or you just put it together?
It was truly, it was a creative vision that I believe that God had given me, just thinking about some things about my own life and what it would be like, is why the documentary film is dedicated to my parents, because I looked at it at a different perspective. I think knowing and understanding that it was something good that came out of this now, and so now we can do something good for someone else.
And if someone is looking for help, you said there's hotlines. Where else can they go?
Well, all over within the nation, there's all sorts of the teenage abuse hotline, the domestic violence hotline, your own local church. If you're in a church assembly, your city, such as here in the city of Elizabeth, all that you mentioned earlier in our segment here, Mayor, they can call all what we have available here within the city of Elizabeth, the YMCA shelters, and various other places in that respect. Social services. There are many avenues that I find here in the city of Elizabeth too, of course, that we need to constantly and consistently tap into,
And the most important message that you would sum up?
Well, in my case, and I say this publicly, it's the first time I've come out in 2 years after sacrificing so much behind the scenes, because I took a huge risk and a huge gamble to do this. I put it all on the line. So as a homeless executive producer of this awesome documentary, powerful, moving film, what I say to dreamers is this. Again, I can't say enough about dreamers, because dreams don't die. And I believe through the generous help of God, through people such as yourself, Mayor, today, dreams can still become a reality. So know that there's hope and that there's help, and that your dream still can live and live again.
Now, if someone wants to contact you and help with this in any way, shape, or form, or get to see it, how do they contact you?
Yes, at present, we're remaking and reshaping the documentary film, so we have a fundraiser going. They can contact us at GoFundMe, GoFundMe.com, and type in Breaking Suffering Silence of Abuse to make a generous contribution. Also, we're looking for volunteers to help, build up the program, the spiritual enrichment part of the program. And then they can also reach us on our website at Breaking Suffering Silence of Abuse, and that's HTT:// one word, Breaking Suffering Silence of Abuse.webs.com, and or here we are to worship.webs.com.
Valerie, I want to thank you for taking the show to join
you.
us on the show this evening. I appreciate you taking the time, and I wish you well with this documentary.
Appreciate it so much. Thank you, Mayor.
For Valerie Allen, please stay with us after these messages, back with more about the youth of our city.